In a dramatic clash between the Trump administration and prestigious U.S. universities, tensions are reaching new heights as the White House moves to freeze over $2 billion in federal grants and contracts at Harvard University. The bold action follows Harvard's refusal to comply with a series of sweeping policy demands from the administration, which include eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion (DI) programs, banning masks at campus protests, and enacting merit-based reforms to hiring and admissions policies. The Trump administration claims these measures are necessary to combat antisemitism on campuses, but critics see it as a political maneuver to exert greater control over higher education. Harvard University, a symbol of academic prestige, has emerged as the first elite institution to take a stand against these demands. Harvard President Alan Garber issued a firm response to the White House's actions, stating, "The university will not surrender its independence or its constitutional rights." This defiance comes amid rising concerns over what some view as an assault on academic freedom, with the Trump administration's proposals being viewed as an attempt to impose political ideology on universities. The demands from the White House center on several key points, including the elimination of DEI initiatives designed to promote racial, gender, and class representation within higher education. The administration also called for the reduction of faculty and administrative powers, which have been described by Trump officials as being more committed to activism than scholarship. Additionally, the Trump administration has demanded that universities ban masks at campus protests and reform admissions and hiring practices to prioritize merit over other factors. While the administration has framed these demands as a response to antisemitism and campus unrest following protests over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, critics argue that the White House is using these issues as a pretext to push a broader agenda of undermining progressive values in higher education. The freeze on Harvard's federal funding has already disrupted numerous research projects, with prominent scholars and research leaders feeling the immediate impact. Dr. Donald E. Ingber, the founding director of the Weiss Institute for Biologically Inspired Engineering at Harvard, received 2 stop work orders on critical contracts, including one worth over $15 million. In addition, Professor Sarah Fortune, a public health expert at Harvard, has been affected by the funding freeze, with her tuberculosis research, part of a $60 million National Institutes of Health (NIH) contract, facing a halt due to the funding suspension. The research disruptions extend to vital public health and biomedical initiatives, raising concerns over the long-term effects of the government's actions. The freeze on Harvard's funding is just one part of a broader strategy by the Trump administration to target elite universities across the country. Columbia University, another prestigious Ivy League institution, was one of the first schools to feel the administration's wrath. Back in March, the White House announced that $400 million in federal grants and contracts would be pulled from Columbia due to allegations of antisemitism amid campus protests. Following this announcement, the Trump administration outlined specific demands, including the enforcement of stricter disciplinary policies, the implementation of rules for protests, and the review of Middle East studies programs and admissions policies. After weeks of back-and-forth discussions, Columbia's administration set out an action plan intended to address the concerns raised by the Trump administration. The university's Board of Trustees endorsed the proposed changes, emphasizing that the reforms aligned with the school's values and mission. Acting President Claire Shipman has stated that Columbia is committed to addressing concerns related to antisemitism and discrimination, but she has also made it clear that the university would reject any efforts to undermine its independence. "We will not allow the government to dictate what we teach, research, or who we hire," Shipman asserted in her response. Other universities, including Stanford University and Princeton University, have expressed strong support for Harvard's decision to reject the administration's demands. Stanford President Jonathan Levin and Provost Jenny Martinez issued a statement reaffirming the importance of university independence, emphasizing that the strength of American universities has been built on government investment, not government control. The administration's push to dictate university policies, they argued, undermines the very principles that make higher education institutions a cornerstone of American democracy. Princeton University has also found itself at the center of the controversy. In early April, the Trump administration suspended $210 million in research grants from various federal agencies, including NASA, the Department of Defense, and the Energy Department, as part of an investigation into alleged antisemitism on campus. President Christopher Garber of Princeton has been vocal in his opposition to the administration's actions, calling them the greatest threat to American universities since the Red Scare of the 1950s. Garber has steadfastly defended Princeton's commitment to academic freedom, stressing that the university would not yield to political pressure. The Trump administration's actions have not been limited to Ivy League schools. In recent weeks, both Cornell University and Northwestern University have seen significant portions of their federal funding frozen. Cornell University, located in New York, had more than $1 billion in federal funds suspended, while Northwestern University, located near Chicago, had $790 million in research funding put on hold. Both universities have expressed confusion over the freeze, as they were not given prior notice and have not been provided with clear reasons for the government's decision. Both institutions have also indicated that they are seeking information from federal officials to understand the basis for these actions. For both Cornell and Northwestern, the loss of federal funding is particularly damaging to their research efforts, which include groundbreaking work in fields such as medical research, engineering, and climate science. At Cornell, the suspension includes more than 75 stop work orders related to contracts with the Department of Defense, and Northwestern's researchers are now facing uncertainty over their ability to continue work on projects that have led to major advancements in areas such as pacemaker technology and Alzheimer's disease research. The ongoing funding freezes and investigations are part of the Trump administration's broader effort to scrutinize universities for alleged discrimination and bias. The Department of Education has been particularly active in investigating institutions for anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment, and the Trump administration has made it clear that universities must take concrete steps to address these issues or risk losing federal support. However, critics argue that the administration's actions represent an unprecedented overreach, with some fearing that it could set a dangerous precedent for government interference in academic affairs. As universities across the nation brace for further action from the government, the question of how to balance academic freedom with the administration's demands remains a point of contention. For many, the ongoing battle is a reminder of the complex and often contentious relationship between government and higher education institutions. While the future of federal funding for many universities hangs in the balance, one thing is clear: the fight for the independence of American universities is far from over. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this developing story and provide updates on the potential legal and political ramifications of the Trump administration's actions against U.S. universities. Will the courts weigh in on the future of federal funding for academic institutions? How will universities across the country respond to the administration's demands? These questions remain unanswered, but the coming months will be crucial in shaping the future of higher education in the United States. Please subscribe to our channel for more updates,